Oh, nothing like a Saturday morning cruise into the shed. Far out, we even made it a good 3/4 of an hour drive into work. So let's show you how we got this to this point so far. Break it down. Righto, welcome back. We are on the attack. We're building a 32 Roadster for a customer. We built the last little green 27 for old Hot Rod Nick. So this should be quite a fun build. We'll show you as we go. We built the chassis about 2 months ago and it's had a CMW's body put on it. They do a really nice job with these bodies. So we'll show you some of the bits that are required with these front ends and how we sort of go about mounting them onto your really basic sort of chassis. So starting with the spring, what we've done is taken the bolt out that holds all of these leaves together. What that lets us do is have a spring that doesn't have so much, it's not as heavy as what it would be if it was all bolted together. So we'll just make up a little spacer that sits in place of these leaves and we'll show you what we mean there. So this is what we mean by this little spacer. So that's taken up the same thickness as the rest of our leaf pack would be, but we don't have the spring rate. So now we'll be able to just lower it down. Obviously, because we don't have a motor in it yet, we should be able to get this thing sitting at a ride height so we can set all this other stuff up. Because that spring sits up inside that front cross member, that's why we have to make that spacer up to make all this sit where it needs to sit. Righto, so the old owner of this car doesn't know what brakes he wants yet, so we've come up with a little solution. All we'll do is make this little spacer, that'll go on top of the factory Ford spindle, that'll take a bearing, and then obviously we'll just run these trailer hubs. I'm all for the trailer hubs. That's gonna let us set this car up and get it rolling, and he can decide in the future if he wants big flash fin brakes or if he wants fast looking wheelwood brakes. Righto, we got these little slugs welded through or tacked through the chassis so we can get these hairpins on. Then we'll probably start looking at the panhard bar, make sure that front beam is in the center of the chassis, and then we'll shift on to these upper shock mounts. 7.4 as it sits there, and we've got plenty we can adjust into it if we think the car's going to need it. Now we'll move on to the panhard bar. Righto, so we needed to move that front axle 3mm over, so the old bottle jack and that kingpin in there moves that pretty easy. Now we can tack that panhard bracket in. What do you reckon, Hot Rod Donnie?
Yeah, it should work.
Should work, fine. Righto, we just linished a little bit of an angle into these upper shock brackets. They come from Australian Rod and Custom, obviously just square. They don't take into account for any chassis rail sort of angle, so that's made them sit really nice. Trailer hubs looking shiny as. Here's a trick for you hot rodders. You can go to the junkyard, find yourself a set of BMW Space Savers. Perfect little wheel for rolling these things around in the shed. Righto, we've added another couple of leaves in there just so it can support its own weight of everything that's sort of sitting on that car at the moment. So good ride height, a little bit of rake. Tomorrow we'll get onto the steering box. Oh, Hot Rod Nick's been shopping. What have you got us, mate?
I've got a soft top kit, fuel tank, bonnet, instrument cluster, and some chrome fittings.
That should keep old Hot Rod Donnie out of trouble for a while. Oh, that's the easiest part. Righto, so we're onto the fuel tank. We've put it in underneath, we've marked some holes, and we've drilled and tapped them from the top just to make it a bit easier. Oh, fuel tank's in. That's going to give us a lot more boot space. So pretty cool that you can buy all this stuff off the shelf and it all sort of somewhat fits. It's just using your brain, trying to figure out the best way of making it get in there. What do you reckon, Donnie? Are we getting a bit ahead of ourselves, already mounting gauges, or what do you reckon?
No.
It'll start making it look like a car.
Mount some pretty stuff.
That's it. Try and find the centre of that dash. I'm pretty sure where CMW got them bolt holes from what we measured in the car is
pretty central.
yeah, I reckon we're on the money.
On the money.
So what sort of gauges did he go for? He went for some Speed Hut. I think are they American or American, yeah.
Utah.
So nice little gauge and real good value for money. You can customise these a fair bit. A lot of people haven't actually heard about old Speed Hut, but definitely jump on and check out their stuff. Template, eh? That's the flashiest template we've ever had, Donnie. Let's see how well we can use that template. Righto, so the template's worked wonders. We've drilled a couple of 3.5mm holes and Donnie will get in there with the air hacksaw. How do we go, Hot Rod, Donnie?
Very good.
Straight in, we'll bolt it in the car, see how straight it looks. 2 little bolts in the back and that's all that holds it in there. Hot Rod Nick, the owner, thought that this gauge cluster might have looked a little bit small in there, but I think it looks pretty good. And that little chrome handle underneath, that's for that outside cowl vent. The guys at CNW fitted that before they gave us the body back. Righto, we've used these a few times, little Bob Drake license plate and number plate light all in one. So little license plate holder. Comes with instructions, 3 bolt holes is all you have to drill. So we've just used this line here as a datum, and then we've just come down to where we think that looks the best. We'll bolt that on. Oh, this stuff's too easy, Hot Rod Donny. Yeah. When are we going to get onto some harder stuff, like trying to fit a motor that's never been put in one of these before? That sounds like fun. What's it going? A 5.4 Ford engine out of a BA Falcon. Big wide-headed twin overhead cams on each side of the block. That's going to be quite cool in there, I reckon. Let's see how we go. Well, the beauty with the 32 compared to our 27s, Donny, we can have a soft top and it's not going to hit our head. So, what's this one? A quick top. He's bought this. It's obviously just all the bows and frame or whatever you want to call it. Then it's got to go to a trim shop. So we'll see how well this stuff fits. Far out. This stuff reminds me of when I used to go camping and you had to set up a tent. You've got little coloured things that must go to the corresponding colour thing. You had much to do with soft tops there, Hot Rod Donny?
Yeah, used to make them for the cobblers.
Oh, good stuff. You're going to be the man for this job then. Righto, old Hot Rod Brendo's got the instructions out. That's where he's going to start. This looks like a bit of IKEA mixed with a bit of camping. And that's the beginning of all of that. So that'll fit on pretty well. Righto, so the owner's on his way in. He's about to bring the motor down. Massive engine, these Fords. So by rights, it's going to be wider than the shock mounts at the front. They're a massively wide engine. Hopefully it's going to fit in there. Stay tuned. Remember to subscribe and you'll see how if we manage to fit this engine in this week.
Well, that was interesting.
Break it down.